Hey everyone, it's Honey the Lady Strange. Welcome to my backyard, my patio meeting. Another fall type of morning here. It is a beautiful temperature and a beautiful morning here in central New York. So thanks for joining me, whether you're new here or you're returning. Either way, welcome to my space. It's greatly appreciated. This is going to be the weekly guided collective reading for this week, which starts today, September 14th, 2025, and goes to Saturday, September 20th of 2025. That's just how I do my readings, and I'm guided. This is going to include what's been working for me and for others. Crystal guidance reading to start off with, along with a number this week that might help in or might come into play or show up as a additional guider or significator. I cannot talk. Even though I talk all day from my real life job. I wish this was my dream job, is reading cards and doing magic all day, but I still do them, and that's what makes my life go round. So, with that being said here, the crystal that came up this week is when I casted for my crystal bag, and the items that came up near the significator I used. There will be a picture on the community tab where I do post the written channeled readings of these on my YouTube and my Instagram, which is Little Miss Girl 79. So if you're interested on the written one on that or seeing the pictures, then feel free to check those out. So this week, hematite came up. It came up a few weeks ago too. Now, this was touching the significator stone, which you'll see in the picture. It was literally touching it. So that is obviously saying this is the stone of the week, and this is the energies and the guidance. So hematite, and then I use this dice, which you can see the universal hexagram on it. If you're familiar with the Soul's deck, one of the cards in it, or accompanies it, is a universal hexagram, which is a very magical symbol. I found these dice on Etsy, but this is the one out of the two that actually came up right touching basically the significator also, and it is the number 2. Okay, so this week message with the number 2 and the hematite speaks to me about balance and duality. Now, duality is many things, as this 2 can be a number of balance or bringing things into balance. The number 2, two things happening in groupings of 2, saying the numbers 2 like 222, or waking up at that time in the middle of the night, much like I wake up at strange times. I don't sleep very well, but also things coming in pairs, or how things can be done in duality, or actually coming into a perspective of duality and an approach of duality. That means looking at things from both sides, the pros and the cons, as they say, being objective, but also making sure subjectivity comes in first and foremost. We're humans, that's how we are, but to bring in a healthy amount of objectivity in what we're going to find out and what we're going to interact with and what we're going to interact with and what's within our control and without our control. So it's a balance of those things this week, and you're going to see the number 2, and you can potentially use the number 2 if you're into numerology. And the hematite, where that comes into play, is that's going to help with balance. Now, hematite is good for shielding, but it's also good in certain cases as a dual stone. It can be magnetic. So you're going to approach things in those perspectives and look at things in a healthy manner by being mindful of how your negative thinking, beliefs, or maybe actions or inactions, and those of even of others in this human life experience that we're going to go through this week, and as we constantly go through week to week and day to day throughout this life and a human life experience, how that negativity needs to be analyzed and discerned, but to be let go. To shield ourselves from what really truly doesn't matter in our lives and day to day, or may not affect us or our well-being. It's more about keeping ourselves safe and secure and those that we love and care about and we work so hard for. Our relationships and our relationship with ourselves, our finances, our jobs, our careers, our home life, our memories, and what we're trying to achieve. So it's about shielding, but also remember what you think sometimes can be what you attract, and what actions you put forth can set forth the attraction and the magnetism of self and your personal charm and your personal alignment. That's the message of hematite is. Protect yourself, protect your goals, that which you love and work for, and shield away from negativity, but also use some charm and magnetism in your day-to-day experience, your personality, your charm, and what you can create. And being mindful that this is going to pair in with the number 2 this week, duality. Duality of efforts, thoughts, feelings, energies, and different elements and things that you can pair into. 2 is a very magical number. It's also a number of change. Anyone in this collective, I know myself primarily too, has been subject to a lot of change in the past few weeks, past few months, and past several years, and has throughout their lives. That's what type of collective we are, but we're humans. But sometimes this group is more subject to things that are much more difficult. Health issues, financial issues, life issues, relationship issues, and just overall maybe sometimes faith issues with spirituality or how things are going or how they will go, and being analytical. So that's the message this week for the crystal of using hematite. If you have it, carry it, use it, body it, or just use the energies to guide you along with the number 2 you're going to see this week, or that you can use that aspect how 2 comes up as change and duality and balance through change. So the decks that are coming out this week is Tara Volatile. She's a chunky monkey, as they say. I kept a lot of the extra additional cards on that you can buy, that additional set. I kept them in there. That's what I felt like, and I like the different images and perspectives. As to say, it's a beautiful, lusty deck. Tara Volatile is. I affectionately call her my Principles of Lust deck, and for all the versions of that in that song by Enigma, a 90s new agey song that got me on it when I started my path and my magic officially, that is. So check that song out if you're interested, but that's what I call that deck, as I name my decks affectionately. This is Purgatorium Hex. This deck is out of print. This is by Mr. Freiburg. This deck has a fun, cheeky sort of voice, a different sort of voice. It's got witches and devils in it and demons. You know, it's fun. It's black and white. It has interesting keywords and interesting energies and things with perception. So that's what the thing is: perspective, perception, and having objectivity through our subjective. Wow, I don't edit my videos, and I'm not going to, but at this time, but yes, of our life and day-to-day subjective experiences. This is kind of a fun for this type of year, and things. This is what I was guided and stepped up with, and I'll be doing, like I did last week, a 1 or 2 card pull, depending on what I'm guided towards by my guides, the universe, and the guides for this collective and magic from these Blue Bones by Rose Bay, which is an indie deck, and you still can get Tara Volatile, I believe, and you can still get these Blue Bones, but you can't get, that's lovely. I should surmise that would happen. Give me a sec here. She decided to go flying on the ground. Sorry about that, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me. Yeah. Bloopers, you see them in real life time. Or as I film it, should I say. But still, yeah, that deck obviously has some type of message overall. Or probably for me. That's how she speaks to me. My cards were being thrown at me with this morning's daily draws, too. Yeah, I got a lot coming on for myself personally this week. I mentioned in some of my previous videos, and this week's going to be a lot of determining factors. But yeah, so, hematite and number 2 are going to be very prevalent for me so far. But we're not going to get into myself. This is the collective reading. So yes, I will talk about my experiences, as I often do, in another video. So let's see what the collective needs to be mindful of and aware of for this week. This is just energetic guidance. This is things that you, energies, circumstances, people, things you may interact with, or how life will interact with you to have an effective, empowered week. As always, it's up to you to discern what resonates with you, your life experiences and circumstances, as we each have our own inner and outer worlds we must deal with in this very human life experience. So let's see what you have for us, Tarot, this week. Since we're going with the tarot this week, I'm being guided towards. What does this collective need to know to have an effective, empowered week and to get through it, and how they can approach it and deal with their day-to-day as it changes and comes into play, and to be better versions of ourselves and be best humans. And one jumped out. And we have Intuition, which is the alternate card for the High Priestess. Since that slipped out, that's a very pointed message. So we're starting off with the High Priestess this week. That's pretty good about perception and objectivity, as the High Priestess really is in that sitting in her energy and having intuition and listening to the guidance and silence. So we're going to go over that, and let's describe. I'm being told one more this week. Originally told 2, but or 3 overall, but we'll do one more to go along with that beautiful High Priestess, or in this case, Intuition. My neighbor's cat is visiting again. He's on the prowl. Okay, describe that High Priestess for us, for accompanying conjunctive message, please. What this collective needs to know, and as part of the central door and message for this week. And I just want to point out, the High Priestess is the number 2. It's kind of corresponding and correlating, so you shouldn't catch it. And we have here the 3 of Wands. Now, the High Priestess is a major arcana card, and the 3 of Wands is a Wands card, which relates to the element of fire, action, will, planning, much like the Pentacles, but this is more of a fiery action than what you're bringing into. And you notice how this is, like, I keep using the word perspective, let's talk right, perspective, and looking forward. Look at how this is looking forward and planning and looking for something to come, and the actions already laid foot or afoot and taken into this life and circumstances to start coming more and more answers, so you can take an action. So that is very pointed with that. So let's see. So with the High Priestess and 3 of Wands here from Tarot Volatile, the message from Spirit today and for this upcoming week for this collective, and again, take what resonates with you. Bring her in, and this one in, is basically having following your intuition, being still with the knowing, the inner guidance, the inner connection that you have and that you have laid the groundwork of. Realizing that you have taken the appropriate actions and steps. As last week's message said, you may want to check that out if you're interested. And what you're looking forward to. Now, be still and be silent. It's not a thing of being heavy action as much as being receptive to the answers and bringing clarity to what you already know and what you can bring in. And some of the many things intuitively are going to start coming to you that you've been looking for, or what you need to know, or what you need to find to continue forward, so you can take those action steps that build up and forward through the wands and through the wands in daily life. So it is what you're looking for and what you're seeking, you're waiting to come, and intuitively and through wisdom and experience and discernment, without taking forceful action, it's going to come into play. The High Priestess is all about sitting, knowing, and observing, and taking that in and letting it flow in without being overly analytical or overly forceful or overly active, kind of like not the will like the Magician, or the Creator like the Empress, or the Protector like the Emperor per se. She's the counterpart to the Hermit, in my opinion, and energies. So follow your inner guide, follow your intuition, follow what feels right, and that will help you to bring into your next steps and to take in what you've already planned and take those action steps. Answers are coming this week. I'm getting that. That's being screamed. That's for me, but that's also for maybe someone or others this week. More answers and clarity are coming this week that are going to be integral to your next steps and what you can do for yourself and that which matters in your life. But also, again, do not force things. Things have already been set into action, and will is also what I'm being told here for us. Is things have already been, the groundwork's been laid, so it's more of a matter of silent knowing and observation before we can move forward. Okay, so let's see what Purgatorium Hex has for us as a additional message to clarify this message. Give some clarification, please, for this collective, how they can have an effective, empowered week to take the action steps for what they're waiting for, and the silent, sure things of wisdom and inner wisdom and guidance, and the guidance of others, and being receptive to what's happening in this day-to-day and ever world. So clarify the High Priestess and the Three of Wands for answers that this collective may be getting, and action steps or what they can silently know to use and to achieve balance and duality. Okay, so we got sorrow, okay, so we got sorrow and we got paranoia. Now again, this is an interesting deck, but that's how I am. After all, my channel is called Lady Strange. I am the Lady Strange. So we got sorrow here to be mindful of, and paranoia. So remember how I said in the beginning of the reading, if you made it this far, that is. I hope you have. But there is a feeling of heaviness here in this collective. There has been a lot of sorrow. So the things that you wanted to achieve in your life or wanted to happen and did not come to fruition. Expectations, things, and the things that maybe life has dealt you or others have dealt you. First and foremost, we're the center of our life and our actions, and take action and responsibility in it, but there is so many extenuating forces to that come into play, and especially those of other people. So we have sorrow because no matter what point in this life is, we've lost people we loved, friendships, partners, jobs, things we tried to create and do the best we could. The sorrow of what we once had, whether it be a really much better physical health. We miss people, the sorrow of what we may not be able to achieve in the future. There's a lot of that thought too. And that's where paranoia comes into. Paranoia is a very dark thought form and a very thought form and emotional thought form. So, but it doesn't really, is paranoia real? Or is it self-created by thought and overthinking and getting overwhelmed? Do not let your sorrow overwhelm you. Things are as they're meant to be and will continue to be as they're meant to be. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in those that you care about. Have faith in what you put forth. And have faith in whatever belief system or spiritual system you may walk with or work with. But most of all, with yourself and your inner guidance, and that you follow that. And that you will get what you need on it. It's saying that the High Priestess is saying that she does not give in to paranoia, and she does not let sorrow rule her. She's just silently knowing with faith. Use your intuition and have faith. That's the big thing this week. And the answers you are seeking are also seeking you. The circumstances you're seeking is also seeking you. That peace and inner serenity and balance. So that's why you don't give into sorrow or paranoia, even though it is prevalent. Acknowledge it, but don't let it rule you or to take you over with negativity or your balance that you have and that you're trying to achieve. In the dual nature as life deals it. And let's see, to wrap this up, what does these blue bones have as their inner? The spirits are channeling through me very heavily, so yeah. Okay, these blue bones, since you were very vocal a couple minutes ago, what would you like to end with? Before, and I don't want you to fall all over again. Oh, this one's quite interesting. See? Gotta love how that happens. Like I said, the cards do have, if you're watching this, obviously, you do believe in these, or like the art, or something. But, I'm looking for guidance, but look at this. That's why I love this. These blue bones is I affectionately call her my Moody Blues deck. Named after the band, but probably it's inspired heavily by the Nights in White Satin song. Also a great song, check it out. And look at that. So fishing your subconscious. High Priestess and fishing your subconscious. Look for what's in your subconscious that is causing you sorrow and paranoia. Look for that. That's going to bring you to a better safe harbor, as they say, and bring you the more balance that you're going to be setting forth this week, and therefore bringing into your foreseeable future, and laying the groundwork. And so with this week on that is answers are coming, truth is coming, clarity is coming through following your intuition, your inner guide, and be silent and knowing without pushing too much. Keep seeking, because what's seeking is you. You're seeking yourself, but what you are seeking is also seeking you, and that's yourself and your relationships and relativity and your humanity. And don't be given to acknowledge your sorrow and acknowledge your paranoia, but look for what's causing it in your subconscious. And maybe things you can also take nice, simple actions for that will help those, and to alleviate, and those people or relationships that can help that. Overall, though, negativity doesn't need to rule you. You have the faith and the strength and the will to get through this, and the resources, as always. And with that, please like this, as that helps the algorithm. Plus, it helps to know that my message is getting out there. Please subscribe if you feel so inclined, and comment if this resonates with you. It's greatly appreciated, and as always, stay strange.